All right, cool. We're live.
All right. It's good to
All right.
see you again.
Likewise, it was such a pleasure to work with you the last time that we get to do this again.
It was. I hardly recognize you with your new hairstyle. Took me a minute to make that adjustment.
Yeah, well, had a mishap with the blonde and decided to go red, so here it is.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we're gonna do this workshop again. Last time was a lot of fun. I think we saw some dogs make some improvements for sure. Hoping to see some of the same dogs again because I'd like to see where they left off, what they've done in between, and what we can improve on for the next couple months, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what people have done in between each workshop and how far they've pushed their training and what we can do to push it even farther, of course, because you never stop.
That's all right. Yeah, no, I agree with you. It'll be nice to see some familiar faces again and just to see how far they've developed. And I want to see, I'm curious how they'll do in both the bite work that you started them on, and then as well as the obedience aspect. I'm wondering if we got some elegance forming there and some, really good angles and then also some precision going on. I'm kind of wondering and curious to see how everyone's doing there.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be fun to see. As it is every time when I have a client, even like an obedience client, even just seeing from one week to the next week and be like, aha, you've been practicing. I see the improvements. Or be like, did you practice?
Yeah. Dogs let us know right away. We can see it.
Yeah, yeah, they don't lie.
Yeah. So for anyone new that's joining on, Brent is nationally certified IGP decoy, and we worked
Mhm.
together back in June of this year. And so it was such a wonderful co-teaching experience, and we had such a good number of people that it's going to be a pleasure to work with you again. We've been asked to do it again, so we've created this opportunity to host this again at your wonderful facility, which is fully equipped with everything that we need.
Yep.
We can cover some of the things that you plan on covering because, as I understand, it's not just for people that are going on the competition field. So I know that you do cover being able to do like from the very beginning of decoy work with IGP or PSA, but also you can take a dog from the very beginning.
Mm.
So you can challenge them or you can build them. So depending on where people are at, if you'd like to go in a little bit further on that, you're
Yeah.
amazing. I watched you do it, and it was absolutely amazing to see with each dog and how fast you could, go on the fly with each dog. It was amazing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I enjoy doing it. It's a thing for people that are very serious in the sport or people that are we could say more weekend warriors that just want to have fun with their dog, burn out some energy, and their dog has some genetics for it. So, it's a good way to build the relationship. We even had a dash hound join us last week. Its first session. So, I mean, obviously it's probably not going to go into sports, but the owner had a lot of fun. The dog did fun, and as we're going to keep working on it. So hopefully by the time you come down, it's doing some stuff.
That'll be fun to
Um,
see.
yeah, yeah. A big thing is if a dog has the ability to play a little bit of tug and can get comfortable in new environments, we got something to work with. And if someone already has a dog started in protection, maybe has some problems or some quirks they want to work out, we do a lot of troubleshooting, figuring those issues out, how to get the dog to not have those issues. So a common issue we have is grip behaviors. So quite often I'm seeing dogs with half grips, chewy grips, not fully committed, and we work hard to make sure that those grips are always, nice and full and hard, and try to get more emotion out of the dog in the right way, to be more powerful and just better at whatever application they're doing. So sport and IPO or PSA or first protection style work, basic thing no matter what is we have to have a good grip. So that's a big thing that we work on, and of course we would change some behavior for whatever avenue they want to go in. But base floor, no matter what, you got to work on grips. Otherwise, if you don't have grips, you can't really go farther. Sometimes there's dogs where We can do shortcuts where their grips are they're never going to be perfect, but in certain motions, they're perfect. So we can use that for some of the sports, but overall, we want to make sure that they're really, really solid. And really solid on every decoy, because sometimes someone will have a dog that's, really good on one decoy, but every other decoy has an issue. It's like, well, is it the decoy that makes the dog look good, or is it the dog? So
Yeah.
let's break it down and let's make sure that dog can go on any decoy that's good or not good, and show the best of its ability. So we need to troubleshoot what that dog needs to get to that next level to be good on every decoy. And it's important for dogs to work on multiple decoys. If I have someone working with me, if I get them to a certain point, I know the dog's really solid. I'll be like, okay, this is maybe someone else you need to see once in a while, so the dog can see a different picture. Or I'll bring someone in maybe so the dog can see a different picture on someone else and change up the environment from working outside to inside or inside outside. Or I've got multiple barns, so we can throw different environmental stuff at them.
Sure.
Um, so that way, no matter where they go, they're solid. So yeah, those are some of the things we want to work on. And of course, the farther the dog is, the farther we can go. And I'm always open-minded to try new things and make those dogs become really strong and come up with some cool scenarios.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And since last time, you also have a vehicle added into
Yeah,
the mix.
we had a vehicle donated to us um, from Max and Sylvia. So we have a nice little Kia in our training building now, so we can do the PSA carjacking scenarios inside, even in the winter. We can do some other fun stuff. I've done bite work on the roof of the car with one of my dogs. You can do stuff in the car. Basically, whatever you can think of, we can try to do with it, besides driving it because it's parked. But we can have fun with all that stuff as well now that we have a donated.
Absolutely. No, that sounds wonderful. And I think the thing is too is that, like you said, you've gone into a lot of bite work development, grip development, and also confidence building to have, like the best dog suited for what application that dog is going in. And if I understand correctly, I put together a little bit of a package for people with obedience, but you're going to be able to put together maybe a small video for anyone that decides to
Yeah.
come or who signs up for our workshop, that they can do a few things at home in order to prep their dog coming to the workshop as well in a few weeks.
Yeah, I think it's not even so much prepping their dog at home. There's will be a few things on that, but even just like handling skills to make things run a little smoother.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do as much coaching just on the handling, which I don't mind. I always do. But if we can streamline that, we can get right to the work even quicker. And just, the dog only has, so many barks and so many bites it can do before it's tired. So
Yeah.
that way we can go through it and streamline it and get the very maximum amount of each dog's time out there. I always like to end the dog on a high note where they're doing their very best. You never want to work a dog to full exhaustion when they're starting. A higher end dog that's done a lot, we can push a lot more. But the dog that's just starting, we got to go short and sweet, make sure that they do everything with as much energy as they can and end on a high note. So if I don't have to spend the time coaching the owner how to hold the leash, then hey, we can get through it quicker.
And I think the thing is that's really comforting because, for me, I obviously want the best for my dog. I don't just, hand them off to different people or anything. I think the biggest solidifying thing for me with your coaching as well as your feedback, you're fantastic at giving feedback, whether it's helping a
Thank you.
around here or if you're helping some of my European clients that I have. You've been incredibly helpful and insightful for them. And I think that I love the fact that you've never injured or jammed a dog in your decoy career. You've always been, very careful. It's all about the safety of the dog and building the
It
dog.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
the safety is the most thing. Unfortunately, some decoys get a little too much ego, or they want to do a little too much with the camera rolling. Or again, a mistake does happen. I'm not perfect. I can make a mistake too. Shit happens. We all do. But when you're catching dogs, running full speed at we'll say soccer field length field where they're running at you to catch them on a sleeve, you can really hurt them. Especially on the IPO sleeve, I find because the dogs are going left or right, stick side or sleeve side. And, you know, you can make that mistake and brick wall the dog and it can really, really hurt. At least on a stoop, we can usually kind of catch the dog and swing with it. So I find there's a little bit more give to it. Again, you can do it wrong there and hurt a dog. So I think it's important. You know, I've unfortunately, with the I'm not going to go into that on the sports side. We'll leave that for in person. But
Yeah,
yeah, there's
definitely.
just yeah, we'll talk about more of that in person where I could go into more detail.
I think the thing is though too is that anyone that's looking to get into this, that's why I think that you're a fantastic fit for this is because you can really develop. Like I've watched you work with some really insecure, uh, like pet dogs at the last seminar that just the next time you brought them out, they're like, yeah, come on, come on, come on, let's go, let's go. And it was just incredible to watch you because like you really work with the prey drive of the dog. You're not putting any sort of spatial pressure on the dog. And for anyone that doesn't know spatial pressure, it's basically when someone squares up to the dog and puts a lot of energy forward and their body language is forward, you soften up all of your body language to make the success of the dog. And
Mm,
I saw you take like this, it was just this little Malinois that she was a little unsure and a little quirky, and then she just didn't know. She went from rag to like a little bite pillow, and she was just amazing. And she opened right up. And the next time, like the last time at the end of the seminar when she came in, like she was kind of hunting for you. She was coming in
yeah.
and going. And then I also saw you work a humongous Dutchie over there that had really
Hmm.
bad pulling tendencies, and the owner
Yeah.
wanted to switch to push in grip as
Yeah.
opposed to the schutz and pull. And I watched you hang on to that humongous dog, and that dog would have flung me around like I don't know,
He's a
like
big boy.
like
He's
a noodle.
like over 100 pounds of this Dutchie. He
Yeah,
bites crazy hard. Yeah, I've still been seeing him since, and you know I have to switch my my sleeves to a different sleeve to him because he bites so hard. The sleeves, which I think he should be on, he's literally going to break or has broken a bit on me, and so that adds up quickly. So I had to switch him to something a little bit different because he's just such a big, powerful dog with unfortunately a pulling behavior. And you know, there's a lot of emotion going on with this dog. So we're trying to get him more. I've found the more comfortable he gets, the more we're not seeing the pulling.
yeah.
Um, and the gripping is getting better. So we have to work on the grip and we have to work on the pulling. But yeah, you know that he's making progress. It doesn't happen in in one session, but it can in some dogs. But we're moving forward with him nonetheless.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. No,
Hmm.
I think it's gonna be great. I'm gonna
Yeah,
definitely in
it'll
this work. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was just going to say some of the things that I do plan to cover.
Mm.
I'm going to be covering the obedience aspect of everything. So with the obedience, I do plan to cover. You know, it can be from beginner obedience, or it could be a trainer who has a demo dog. It could be someone that plans on going into sport or the competition field, and we've also coached canine handlers with their dogs as well.
Yep.
I've done that through also online coaching services worldwide, thankfully, and you've gotten to meet a couple of people that were involved as well, which is nice. But yeah,
Yeah, I have to say, I've seen the clients you have, and then watching you work in person, I was actually really, really impressed with your coachability, and how you were able to adapt to each person's skill level and kind of show them basic hand movements and just everything. And I was like, damn, Becky should be like driving a 1971 Plymouth Satellite everywhere she goes with her skill level is quite good.
my
So I
favorite
have to
car.
I have to say I was very, very impressed with it, and I look forward to it again. I actually since then I've had some questions that I have on some of your style of training and how I can incorporate it into some stuff that I'm doing with my clients, because some of your stuff is a little bit different than mine. And so I have some questions to pick during the session, and I'll do it in front of everyone. So that way I'm not just stealing the information for myself. We can share it. But I do have some questions lined up for you for some obedience.
Amazing. Oh, I look forward to it. I love the aspect of like being able to kind of like co-instruct like this, because it leaves for such a growing experience for both sides. And it's the same with my guy. We have him back online. He's still recovering, but he's doing good. I'm gonna fly him this time instead of making
Yeah,
a 40-hour round drive.
a
Uh,
long drive.
it was a long drive. I don't mind it so bad. Actually, like I don't mind traveling. Well, especially when I have Viker with me, it's not a big deal at all. But yeah, so like in the obedience, I do plan on covering whether it's the building aspect, someone just getting started with it. I did put together a little video for people for so once they enroll, I can send them along the video, and then they can just start doing this stuff at home with their dog, and just it'll help with the preparation, just kind of like what you're planning on doing on with the
Yeah.
handling techniques for
Yeah.
when people come in for the decoy work. I plan on doing the same for the obedience, so that people can get the dog just feeling good. Like I think people see obedience sometimes as something that has to be regimented and it has to be perfect, and the dog must be reliable over having fun. And for
Yeah.
me, I do like reliability, but I also love to have a very animated, happy dog that just you started off in the very beginning stages of having almost like a dopamine effect just by chasing the food, and just getting the dog engaged that way. And then you can take that and just turn it into something that you want to see more. And so then you have a happy and reliable dog.
Yeah.
And
Happy dog is very important. So
oh,
I think a dog that's reliable is very important, and a dog that shows its enthusiasm to do the work, where its tail is showing that's very important to me, because at the end of the day, it's an animal. We need to treat it right, and I want my dogs to be happy, my clients' dogs to be happy.
yeah,
I want them to do well. I want them to win any competition they do, but they must do it in a fashion that they show that they want to be there, not that they have to be there.
of course. Yeah. No, I think that's the biggest thing. So I'll definitely like try to help people out. Like I will adjust to where people are at in training. If they're going on the competition field and they're struggling with a very particular thing, like say, hey, as soon as the decoy's in the room, my obedience goes out the window. Well, we have you. We can put you
Yeah.
in the room and we can help people sort through that and help bring back to balance for those people. Or if they're just getting started and they're like, I want to do something fun with my dog. I just have a pet dog, but I really like, how happy the dogs look in the obedience. Well, we're going to step up that game for you so that you have some engagement, because as you know, with some of the pet dogs, people struggle with that engagement. They struggle to have a dog walk beside them. So we
Mhm.
can help you in a way that will get that dog even focused right on you, and be able to balance that out a bit more. So yeah, I
Yeah, and I
think
think it's really important for some of these dogs that have a lot of they need a lot of stimulation mentally and physically.
mhm,
And you're not always going to be able to go for long hikes and everything, because you're still not hitting the mental. I think more and more I'd like to see some pet owners getting into the obedience that you're doing, the fun pet obedience is still fancy, because the dogs are really going to use their brain, really drain that mental and physical energy, because they're tired after you're done doing it. And
yeah,
it's something that you can do in your kitchen. And so
yeah,
I think that's something I would love to see more and more people partaking in, because any dog that you do this exercise with, I guarantee you will have a better bond with than a dog that you just take for hikes.
100%.
100%.
Yeah, no, I have to fully agree with you. The bond for me is so important. I think you can see that in some of my videos, but for me, like I love everything that I do with my dog. Like I include him in everything, every aspect of my life that I can. And it's so important for me to have such a good relationship that I love sharing that with people. They don't have to
Mhm.
do an hour training session to
Nope.
have a happy dog, like just a very short session, 6 minutes, 10 minutes maximum. Like you want to hit that window of this is amazing. And then you put them away when it's amazing. And then the next time they're like, I want more of that. Like you leave them on
100%.
such a high note and you try to make it such a clear picture. So I do want to work on people skills as well. So like working on their skill set. And because the clearer they can move, the cleaner the dog can move.
100%. It always comes down to the handler because, I can say from the dogs I've trained, each dog I've trained, for my own personal dogs, I've gotten a lot smoother, a lot better, made less errors, made new errors, and each dog has their own quirks. So, I mean, it's nothing but just doing it, getting good training, and getting better and better. And I think that's, having a good coach can speed up that process
Oh,
significantly. I
oh
just
yeah.
know if I had a coach like yourself when I started, where I'd be now in my obedience, because I did a lot myself, and learned some from videos. And if I had a coach back then, man, I could have got through that a lot quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same for me and the bite work aspect. It's as you know, like I play around with my dog's grip development. I am not a decoy for anyone listening. I'm not a decoy. That is definitely Brent's profession there, but I have personally played around with it. I'm not advertising that you should because some dogs can handle it and some dogs are not suited for developing your own dogs personally. So, I feel very lucky and fortunate that I've been able to create that with my dog. And I love learning new things because for me in the future, I would love to be able to develop my next puppy and at least get them started. So that way, when they get a little bit older and I have the foundation and I can, fly my puppy to you and be like, okay, let's start getting serious with this dog and just starting them on having them on other professional decoys that are going to truly, because a professional decoy is what's truly going to make or break your dog and you need to have a good solid person on your team and
100%.
they have to understand what the goals are and everything. So yeah, I think this is going to be a really great workshop coming up and we thankfully have Sarah that's going to be there this time.
Yeah.
She is very busy in the background putting this all together. Um, last time we were there, so I'm hopeful that she can be down there with us a little bit more this time.
Yeah, I think that's the plan this time. We're gonna change a
Awesome.
few things and make it even more streamlined than last time, I think, because again, experience, you learn how to do it better every time. And then the last thing I'll touch on is that I think in person or in the seminar too, I think I'm going to talk about puppy raising a bit,
Yes.
since I do breed Malinois, and I think I need to go over reasonable expectations, with puppies, do's and don'ts. Talk about flooding a puppy and getting a puppy and then expecting it to be a police canine in 24 hours at 8 weeks old, and why you got to be careful who you sell to
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And so I need to go over some of that in person because I'd like people to bring up questions, and then go over things to look for in a puppy and not. And again, big thing is I've learned with puppies that they change. I've had puppies where I think this dog is going to be really good, and then 6 months hits, it's done teething, and it's not the same dog anymore. And sometimes I'm like, this dog is okay. Next thing I know, I see the dog in someone else's hands. I see the dog at a year. I'm like, oh, this dog's really good. Shit. They did the right things, the right steps. This dog became a monster. And I've seen that happen too, where I was like, this dog is okay. And then again at a year, I'm like, shit, the dog's scary. He's really good. So, I like to go over some of that stuff in person, and people have any questions about puppies, or again, like yourself, if you're looking for a puppy in the future, what to look for, what to expect, what's reasonable expectations, and timelines on what things that you may or may not see in your dog. And then again, people, if they have bloodlines, there's certain bloodlines have certain traits where I'm like, I know if a dog comes from this bloodline, it's like, don't expect it to be crazy as a puppy, but at 3 years old, that dog should be real serious and a very strong dog. But it's not going to be crazy where some dogs are going to be crazy as a puppy. At 9 months old, though, that dog will be fully mature, and is how far his character will go. It won't get any deeper, but you'll have what you want, and just make sure it's what you're looking for in a dog. If you're willing to wait for that style of dog that you like, or if you're not. And that kind of stuff, I think I'd like to go over as long as people are interested in it. I do like talking about it, and so that's something I think I will bring up in this one. And as long as people have a list of questions, we can talk for hours on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I really like the puppy development and also like the psychology of, the canines and everything too, because I get a lot of puppies in here for training, and I walk in and it's like I can see what that puppy has, and a matter of 5 minutes you can kind of see, okay, they have this, they have this, especially when you start challenging them with certain things, and you kind of get to see like little hints and picks of what will develop a little bit later on. And like you said, you're very heavy into bloodlines, so the fact that you have the bloodline background, especially with the Malinois, like you're able to really isolate certain things to go, okay, I know that generally this dog is going to do this, this, and this, but you can expect or don't expect this or this, like you can
Yeah,
really take it and help people out
yeah.
that way. And,
And
I,
some dogs too. I've even seen some that I've produced. I was like, I think you should switch the gear you're using from this sleeve to this sleeve, and then it'll be better. And then it has worked out that way too. Or I'm
yeah.
just like, I know these dogs are looking for something different. They'd rather be on a suit material than an IPO sleeve, because I just know that's what they want to feel the person.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I think that's the big thing too, is being able to adjust on the fly. Like I said earlier, you were able to do with all the dogs that I saw last time. You're able to adjust so quickly, and then for you just observing, even with one of my clients in Europe that you were helping with the decoy coaching for them, because they're unfortunate, they're not able to travel, make that
Yeah,
sort of travel, and you were very helpful in terms of being able to coach them with me, and they made some really good adjustments. Like, even though we're talking language barriers and everything, it worked out
yeah,
extremely well. And I was so happy to see how much that person had developed in such a short period of time, just by your observation, your input, and then teaching them how to work with that skill on their end of the pond, and then seeing them do that, like, the next session. And it was just really nice to see. So I think that you'd have some extremely valuable input when it comes to puppies selection, matching energy styles between the owner and the puppy,
yeah,
developing, seeing what kind of goals that person has. Those are all important things.
yeah. Well, it'll be lots to talk about in person.
Mhm.
But yeah, if that's it, we have the what's the date again for the seminar?
26th and 27th of October.
That's the date. So I
Yep.
look forward to seeing you that week. And if anyone has any questions, or is my dog good for this, etc., just reach out to myself or Becky, me, the Canine Care, or Becky at.
bk9becky@gmail.com. I'll add all the information in as well. So,
Perfect. Perfect.
yeah.
Well, it was fun to catch up with you, and we'll see you shortly. And I'm sure we'll probably talk one more time between now and then. As long as we get some questions, we'll bring up and we'll go over. So
Yeah.
it was a pleasure.
Yes, likewise. It was really nice to see you again, and we can of course do a live or something if that's what interests people. We can pop on to Instagram or Facebook and do a live, and
Sure.
do something like that too. So, yeah, I think that's great. It was good to see you again, and we'll see each other soon.
All right. Well, take care.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.